Come on, young fella.
It's time to tune in. We know got the stats and the info. Rocking with Flem and be bad. Let my kinfolk. We got everything you need and some more. Reporting live with the sports. It's time for Uproar, 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 Uproar,
What's going on? What's going on? We got another episode of Uproar Radio show, and tonight we got another special guest with us already here on screen. But before we do anything else, as always, please do us a favor. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Make sure you always tap in with us and stay tuned in for all of the latest episodes of Uproar Radio. As I said, we got a very, very special guest, and we're going to continue this theme of not the Southern Heritage Classic. And tonight's guest is none other than Mr. Anthony A.T. Owens, my former coach when I was at Tennessee State. He hails from Nashville, Tennessee, Maplewood High School. He's a Panther, All American at Tennessee State University as a wide receiver, as a punt returner. You know, he's done it all there at Tennessee State. He's coached. He's been a part of some very, very great teams from his playing days and his coaching days at Tennessee State, man. So, Coach, welcome to the show, man.
Appreciate you guys having me. Appreciate it. Before we get started, who is that on the rap, on the intro?
Hey, man, that's my good brother, DH, another Nashville guy. You know, that's him, man. He went to Brentwood Academy. He was a really great football player, played at UT Knoxville. He was one of the top fullbacks in the country when he came out, you know, but that's him right there, man. And then my guy, my guy MoneytreePod did the instrumentals, did the beats and all the production work on there, man. So those are my guys, man.
Some local people. That's all. Keep it local, baby.
Got to, man. Yeah. So, Flem, talk to me, Flem. What's up, man?
Oh man, you know, this is another wonderful episode of Uproar, and I'm just thrilled to have AT. He was an idol to me. You know what I mean? He was one of the guys, man, that I looked up to. You know, he was out there catching the rock. I was a kid, about 10, 11, 12 years old, 13, 14 years old. And I remember him being fresh. You know, he was a hybrid before hybrid was cool, right? He was a receiver. Then they put him and figure out trying to get the ball. Then they put him in the backfield, tight end. You know, depending on what the game plan was, they moved him around and found in some kind of way he always found himself open and was catching the rock. So it's great to have my frat brother, my big brother, Anthony A.T. Owens on the show.
I appreciate those kind words, Flem. Appreciate those words,
we're not gonna have some under the table Alpha Theta meeting going on here. Like I said, we're gonna shut all of that down. All right, we ain't gonna do all of that now. Come on now.
Oh my God.
Man. But yeah, man, you know, Coach, man, as I said, we were, you know, before we get into, you know, the meat of tonight's conversation, just check in with you, man, and everything you got going on. I know you've been running a good marketing communications business, and I think you're still doing some coaching back at your high school alma mater, Maplewood High School, home of the Panthers, man. So you know, kind of give us the quick 30,000-foot view of all things AT right now. What's been going on these last couple years?
Well, right now, the president of Dugar Communication. It's a PR firm here in Nashville that my wife started, but she turned the reins over to me when she decided to go back to corporate America. And I do some advising more so than coaching in Maplewood. My time doesn't allow me to get out there like I want to, so I always make it on game day. And, you know, Coach Simpson is doing a great job over there. And so we're trying to just get the pride back in Maplewood. And then, of course, I'm busy with, you know, my board affiliations. And I have two that, you know, that are right at home with TSU. And that's the Tiger Den and also the 1912 Sports Group. So just trying to do what we can do and trying to do what I can do to give back to Tennessee State. And also put some food and bread on the table at the house.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. That's always good to know, man. I think, you know, as we've talked about this, and Flem and I have had conversations with these younger cats, man, that are making their decision on where they're going to go for college, man. And Flem, you can piggyback on this too, man. But you know, it's that next step that always comes in life, right? No matter what sport you play or not play, right? It's just something's going to always come, man. And I think that as a person who's had a great college career, a coaching career, has had great success there as well too. I mean, heck, correct me if I'm wrong. Weren't you the offensive coordinator at Ravenwood High School when y'all won that first state title there? Were you part of that staff there? I believe so.
No, I was advisor on that staff. The next year, I was the receivers coach, and we went to the state and lost to Sonny Gray and the Smyrna Bulldogs.
Ah,
They had Rod Wilkes that year, so we
yeah,
lost to them. Even though we beat them in the regular season,
yeah,
and that was their only loss. And then they beat us in the championship game.
gotcha.
And but that was under Coach Brian Rector, who was well known here in the Mid Tennessee State area because he put Ravenwood on the map.
Yeah,
Then he went to West Kentucky as a GA. He got tired of that, came back, and at Centennial, then back at Father Ryan.
mm-hmm.
So yeah, we were part of that staff, man, and that's what got me back into high school coaching because I think I took 2 years off. We left Tennessee State in 2004, so I got hooked on with Coach Rector, and it was a great match, and we made things happen out there in Wilson County, man.
Yeah, man. Okay, good deal, man. We're gonna keep this theme with you on some of this stuff, man. But just as a person who's still in the coaching to some degree, just share with us what does winning look like for you today in today's football? Like, what does it look like to you?
Ooh, man, that's a. I think, I think this is for every level. You have to have some form of discipline in the program.
Mm-hmm.
If your program's not disciplined, you're not going to win. That goes from the smallest items to what you consider a major item. The discipline has to be there. Then once you get the discipline, you got to have some guys that care, and the care is probably more so along the lines of having great character,
Mm-hmm.
and then after that, they got to be able to play a little bit.
Yeah.
And if they can play a little bit, and they got the discipline and the character, they can go a long way. And I think if you look at all the teams that are winning now, regardless of the level, I think you see those three things. They have some talent,
Mm,
they have character, they have discipline.
yeah.
And that's why they're winning at the clip they're winning at. I don't think you will find too many teams that don't have those three things that are winning.
Gotcha. That's good stuff, man.
Yeah, so Coach, I gave my greeting. I've been knowing you for a very long time. You knew my father as well, and we watched your college career. Then we saw you get into the coaching ranks, and we saw you as an OC at Tennessee State University. And the reason why we got this show right now is telling the story of Tennessee State University. It's been a long time since we got a chance to share these stories. Share great times with great players. It seem like they don't get their just due. And that's why we have this platform. So, we started this thing called Not the Southern Heritage Classic because the big announcement came out a couple of weeks ago about Jackson State being back on the schedule. And then actually we're focusing on the last time Jackson State was in Nashville, which was in 1988. And I believe you participated in that game where it was a 27-27 tie. Just give us some backstories of that game. I was a kid at that game. I was 11 years old. Just tell us a little bit about that game because it was a dogfight.
Yeah, that year, that was almost like a 2 year run up to that game because in '86, we played them in the regular season, and then we played them in the playoffs, and both of us was highly ranked, but they made us play each other, and so we played in Nashville, and it was 27,000. Both bands were in the end zone, and we happened to beat them to go on to the next round. Then in '87, we went to their place, and they kind of put it on us. Then we came back in '88 and played. I think that's, like you said, it's the last time in Nashville, and that game ended in a tie. But it had so much intensity in that game, man. And it was early in the season because we went on to have a pretty bad season that year. But at that part, at that portion of the season, we was just fresh and we were early in the season, and it was a great contest. And then of course we moved to Memphis a couple years after that, and we kept it going. But that game, that's been the only two times that it's been over 20,000 in that whole that I was a part of, playing or coaching.
Oh, yeah.
No matter else who we brought there, it was Jackson State that made it happen.
Yeah. You talk about that 86 season, though. We talked about that in one of our last episodes with Coach James Reese, who was a teammate, and we actually played him twice that year. And
yes, we did.
Yeah, played them twice that year. We beat them twice that year because I was moving here to Nashville in '86, so we was doing the transition from Jackson, Mississippi to Nashville. So that was like a treat for me as a 9-year-old kid. So now we're moving on and we're talking about this rivalry is being restored. And me and you've had a lot of conversations off the record about the direction of the program and what we're trying to do to build this thing up. We're going to have a big Jackson State crowd show up in Nashville. We know what's coming from us. But let's talk about some of the things you think we can do to get our fan base fired up for this game, because you played it. You're going to be fired up, but we got to get the city of Nashville fired up.
Yeah, I think we just have to – we've been asking, if you go on all these social media platforms, you see them talking about TSU football, this is what the fans been asking for. Now, I say they're very selective in their thinking because we've played black schools these last I don't know how many years, but for some reason we don't want to show up when it's our home game, and so now we're getting Jackson State coming in here, so we will see if our fans gonna walk the walk that they've been talking, because you can't ask nothing better. Both teams gonna be 0-0. The first game to kick off the season, Labor Day weekend. What more could you ask for than to have them come to our place and kick off the John Mary Classic? And we'll see what happens. And we'll see if we're putting, like we said, we're putting our talk with our walk. Because they're gonna be here. People love coming to Nashville, and they're going to be here. Are we going to be here? That's going to be the big question, and it's going to be remain to be seen. And then with the addition of Alabama A&M, we're going to Huntsville. I know we're talking about not the Southern Heritage, but I know we're talking about not the Southern Heritage Classic, and we're going to have freaking FAMU on the docket this year, going to Tallahassee. Yeah. Then we get Morgan State for homecoming. So this is the year we're going to see what our fans are really about. And if we don't prove it this year, I don't know what we're gonna do, Flem. I don't know what can you do to get our fans riled up. And it's not, and I know people want to have an all HBCU schedule, MEAC or SWAC, but that's not gonna do it because a lot of those teams don't travel. Right. So if we don't come to the game, who's gonna come to the game? Mm-hmm. So Jackson State's gonna be a pivotal moment in Tennessee State football history to see what we're going to do, because it's going to be a sad sight if they have 25,000 people and we have 5,000 people.
Oh, yeah.
So the onus is on us, and I don't think it's anything else the athletic department can do. I don't think it's anything else that, the supporters, the real supporters TSU can do. We just got to keep putting the word out there and see if our fans show up.
Yep, you being a marketing guy and, me being a sales and marketing guy, I always have a saying, the things that we do Monday through Friday, and Reno kidnapped my saying the other day. He added an extra day. He added an extra day, took my slang, and, it was okay. But the things that we get glossed over sometimes because, we had a transition of leadership in the athletic department. And, we've been working through that, and everybody's trying to find a way. We had the celebrity coaching thing that happened, that was the big thing.
Correct.
Then you had COVID. And now you got new leadership with President Tucker. You know, the thing I don't want to get lost is the ground roots effort that I believe is missing in this our effort. You know, you was a Maplewood High School kid that came to Tennessee State University, represented from the Ville. You know what I mean? You had James
Correct.
Reese, you had James Wade, you know, you have, you know, folks from Birmingham, you know, and, you know, all these things. But everybody in Nashville felt like Tennessee State University was their school. You know, if you wasn't representing for Tennessee State University, you know, what was you doing? You know, because, you know, that's the work that Big John had done. He had mobilized this city with his, you know, with his personality. Not only was he loved by Tennessee State folks, he was loved by Nashvillians and white folks. You know, you watch the shows. Big John basically run the city. So, you know, what do you think some things that we can do as soldiers? You know what I'm saying? Like Reno, yourself, you know, me, you know, all the other folks that truly love Tennessee State to get this work,
I think,
whatever.
yeah, I think we're doing what we need to do. I think we gotta also come into what reality is. The late '80s, when early '80s, when Big John last couple years, and then transitioning to Bill Thomas. Nashville is a different city now. All the way up until you know when the Titans got here, and then it started to turn now. So from 1999 to probably 2006, we had a window where we could have kept what we need to Tennessee State to be. I think after 2006, it steady started going down here because you had more things to do. And then you had, like, we first started in the OVC, if y'all remember. I know you remember Slim, and you too, Reno, because you're from Nashville. The teams we were playing, they used to fill up three-fourths of the visiting side in Hell Stadium. But when we got the new stadium, after about 2 years, when the Titans were here, full-fledged, those fans even stopped coming to the game. The UT Martin fans, the Tennessee Tech fans, the Austin Peay fans, they stopped coming to the game. And then our fans slowly started dwindling, And once we lost that traction outside of homecoming, for some reason we hadn't been able to get it back.
Yeah.
And we've had, several nice seasons doing since 2006, but we haven't had enough. And I don't know if winning's going to cure it or not. I think it's going to take a combination of winning, outstanding, media savvy, personality coach, and a department that can go out there and push the product on the people. And you got to get in front of the people. And I think you cast a 300-mile radius and you focus on that, trying to get people to come to a Tennessee State game, home game on a Saturday.
Right.
I'm gonna definitely agree with that, and that's the part that Flem and I kept saying for quite some time now. That's what we need, man. I think, matter of fact, I know Tennessee State fell into this thing of the status quo, and they just thought that if you just in certain times of the year, if you say this, like, boom, that's all you got to do. Like, for instance, if you just show that we playing Jackson State and FAMU and Alabama A&M, okay, that's enough. And it's like, that's just not enough anymore. And it's what you said. It's the ability to have a head coach that is in front of the city, consistently, and then the ability to have the university combined with athletic department that's pushing the product, as hard as possible, from their end. Another thing that I noticed is that, our fan base is just extremely, the consistent ones are old. The season ticket holders are old.
Yes.
And, I understand that it's an issue with trying to get the undergrad kids there to the games, but it's like so many years of not being able to get them to the game. Again, that takes away, from so much of what you're going from your youthful fan base, man. So it takes away from that. And I think, matter of fact, I believe my hypothesis is that if you start to do some things consistently throughout the week during football season, that brings in brings enough group of students enough, you start to build that bench strength of, okay, this is what we do. Now that's all predicated on, as you said, Coach, of having winning seasons. So I got to believe that that's going to happen. So it's like, if I believe that's going to happen, then from that standpoint, now it's about the university athletic department and fan support, creating that energy around there, and believe that that football program is going to turn towards a consistent rate. Because it's like you said, my years there, unfortunately we had my true freshman year, it was a bad year. Then we go to another coach, bad year, right? Then his second year, really good year. Then we go to a 4-win season. Then my last year, we go to an 8-win season, right? And then he steps down. Coach Reed comes in. He has subpar. Then boom, he breaks through, right? Then boom, it slowly dwindles back down. I'm like, that's kind of how we've been from a product standpoint. And it's like all of it is like not happening. It's like can't get everything lined up right now.
Yeah, I know we have, like, the Middle Tennessee alumni has to drive Tennessee State University as far as attending the games, because you can't expect someone from Birmingham or Atlanta or Louisville or Chattanooga to come to our games on a regular basis. They may come to 2 or 3. Let's say we got 6 home games. You can't expect them to. The Middle Tennessee State fans have to start showing up. And like I like to tell some of my friends, I can look at a Titans game, because they ain't all about winning. I can look at the Titans game on a Sunday, and I can go through Facebook or Instagram, and I see so many of our people out there at the Titans games where it's the same. Only thing is different players on the field, but the stadium is the same, the food is the same, the in-game announcements are basically the same. We have a band, we have cheerleaders, so all that's there, but they'd rather spend their money to go see the Titans on a Sunday morning as opposed to coming to see Tennessee State on a Saturday, when you're going to have much better seats than what you have on a Sunday. You know what I'm saying? And you get to give back to Tennessee State. So somewhere we've missed a boat here lately where folks do not want to come see Tennessee State play for some reason. And I don't know what that reason is, because like I said, like last year, that schedule was amazing for a home schedule. Yeah. Especially the early portion of it. And our folk would still not come to the game. I mean, the A&T crowd wasn't up to standard. The A&M crowd wasn't up to standard. The North Dakota State crowd definitely wasn't up to standard. There's no way you play the number 1 team in the nation and you have that few folks representing your football team at your home stadium. So it's on the fans. We gotta do what we gotta do to improve this thing.
Yeah. Agreed, man. Like
said, so check this out. So can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So check this out. So we talked about, we can talk about the fans. And the one thing I do want to understand is there is an optimistic side to all this in Middle Tennessee, because you're gonna have the Black Rodeo and they'll sell out in Nashville. You know what I mean? Charlie Wilson comes once a quarter, and he and it's full. You know what I mean? So there's a pocket of some there's some pockets of some folks here, and that's why we talk about that Monday through Friday situation. We just can't just put things on social media and think people supposed to go be Tennessee State followers, because everybody's not on Tennessee State's page.
Correct.
Everybody follow Tennessee State, but there's no personality currently, that's leading the charge for Tennessee State University. Like, you don't have anybody out here shaking hands, going to barbershops, beauty salons, going to, these social events. We don't have a king of this city representing the university. So you can have a game at Tennessee in Nashville on a Saturday, and these people don't even know who Tennessee State playing. Just because it's just not, they haven't been touched. And the crazy part is there's a large masses of people in Nashville right now that think the John Merritt Classic is homecoming. And you'd be like, wait a minute, now what? You know what I'm saying? I've heard it multitude of times where that's how they're not being touched or they're not that interested. But TSU homecoming gets all the buzz is because everybody in the city, whether you went to the university or not, have their own rendition of Tennessee State homecoming. That's why you see the beauty salon deals, you see the nail deals, you see the shopping deals, you see the food deals, because then they grab it. You know what I'm saying? The city grabs it because there's an opportunity for them to leverage, and they know it's going to be a bunch of people there. So, with all of that being said, we look at the numbers and know the numbers are not where we want them to be. At the same time, there's hope. It's hope because there are people here that pick and choose when they want to come. So, you being a marketer, you got to figure out what moves the people. You can't just sit back in your office and think it's going to be okay and hope it's going to, or schedule your way for it to be okay. No, you got to leverage folks and say, I got a pocket of 10,000 people I can depend on every home game.
Yeah.
And then I got to grow from that because I'm going to feed what they want. I'm going to feed that. They know what's going on with us in the program.
Yeah.
I think it's an opportunity where you have to put the money that you want to make that happen. You have to put that money behind it.
Yeah.
Because it's not, you can't do that advertising or getting the word out, just by osmosis. You got to put some money behind it. And then once you get the money behind it, the plan has to work, but you have to put the money behind it. And so Dr. Allen is trying to do the best he can, from my outside vantage point, haven't really been on the inside of it to see exactly, but he's trying to do better. Also, when Coach Barlow came here last year, he went on the tours, tried to go to the churches. I think he needs to keep that up this year, even though we went 2-10. You got to still stay out there. Like one of the organizations I'm involved in, One Party, One Purpose, we had an event with A&T after the first game. And Coach Barlow came and spoke at the event. Brought him in through the back door, the venue, surprised everybody was in there. He came in, talked, had some nice kudos for the A&T fans who were there. Great kudos for our fans. But we have to do more like that. Now that the season's over, and you got to still do it. Once they got this recruiting cycle, he's got to hit the pavement. He's got to get out here in this Middle Tennessee area and just campaign for his program.
I agree, man. I agree. Well, look here. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna keep this thing rolling. We're gonna now step into this 1988 stage of the game, man, Coach. So this part of the show, what I really want you to do is kind of the best as you can. Like you said, this was early in the season. Talk to me about Coach Thomas, because it was Coach Thomas with Coach Gillum at the time.
Coach Thomas,
right? So it was Coach Thomas. Remind me of like that week of preparation. Would you say it felt like any other year of Jackson State and TSU of just it's always like that, or or would you say, how did that week of practice preparation, feel as best as you can remember?
Well, with it being early in the season, and I think that's when we were still playing Middle Tennessee. And I think we'd already played them. And so Jackson State was our second game, if I'm not mistaken. And I think we may have came off of a loss to Middle Tennessee. So that Monday's practice was like a horrible practice because we had some upperclassmen who was trying to lead in a way where they were like saying we get ready to start stretching. We were doing up downs and they were trying to, you know, have younger guys do the up downs or something like that. And
Yeah.
all of a sudden, Coach Thomas took over, and we spent the entire practice, which was about an hour. We spent the entire practice doing up downs.
Goodness. So hold on real quick. So Coach, set the stage. So remind the folks, who were the vets on that team?
Man, the vets on that team was we had Roger Holmes, Stacy Greer. Stacy Greer would have been he was coming to his third year of being a quarterback, but he had competition from a young Ben Brown who had to sit out the year before, and Chauncey Hines. So we had three-way competition going on for quarterback. Then you can throw in Leon Gauls in there. So basically, we had four guys trying to play quarterback. Then we probably had about 20 guys trying to hold two positions at wide receiver. So in the secondary, we had Tony Starger, Joe Stone, Albert Thomas. So we still had some talented guys. Anthony Pleasant on the defensive line.
Yeah.
Rob Reed was still man in the middle on the defense. So we had what we thought was some time to play. We had the late David Sall in the backfield, him and Sean Malone. Two local products that you talking about, Nashville guys. They were in the backfield. Yes, they were in the backfield. So we had guys, but for some reason it just didn't click, man. But and when that was a great question, because when I go back looking, I be trying to think who all was on that team.
Was Frank Pillow?
No, Frank left in '87.
Okay. So
Frank went to the league that year. He's a rookie with Tampa Bay that year.
Gotcha.
What about
So
Larry?
Larry might have been this guy here, but Larry might have been a prop though that year. '89. Yeah, Larry was a prop that year. Larry wasn't able to practice that year.
Okay.
Yeah, so he wasn't able to practice that year.
Wow.
Because Ben Brown was I'm trying to think, was that Ben's second year? It might have been Ben's second year. No, that was Ben's second year because Ben was a prop in '86, so he couldn't practice in '86. So Ben, '87 was his first year, and '88 would have been his second year. So it was Stacy, Ben, Chauncey, and Leon Gauls all battling for quarterback.
Wow.
And like I said, it's hard trying to figure out who those guys were because I'm like, man, I need to find an '88 yearbook to find out exactly who all we had on that team. We had some guys, like I said, the one I just named, but that year didn't work out good for us at all, man. Once we got past Jackson State, that probably was the highlight of our season.
Wow.
Because we won 3 games that year. We won 3-7-1, and we lost to Grambling in homecoming, and that's when Coach Thomas resigned at the end of the year. Then we brought Coach Elam in.
Gotcha.
Now that was the year that y'all lost to MTSU, I believe, and Coach Thomas was on.
Yeah, we lost the first game of the year.
Yeah, Channel 5.
No, that was homecoming. Homecoming.
Oh, okay.
No, that was homecoming. Homecoming.
When they was on
homecoming against Grambling. Yeah, Grambling beat us 41 to something, 41 to 9 or 10 or something like that. He let the emotion of being a Tennessee State Tiger come to, get to him.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of pressure, man. Because we had been used to having seasons like that. We had one in '87. So like those two teams had, in my estimation, we had great talent. But I just don't know why it didn't work out. Because there's no way those two teams should have won 3-7-1. Both of them won 3-7-1.
Yeah. So tell me this, what were the coaching points, typically around that time from like a Coach Thompson and staff going into that week? Was it just, hey, like it's Jackson State week and it's about to be physical?
Man, it was survival for us. Because after that Monday doing all those 1 hour straight of up downs, it was just survival. And then once we come down that Gentry walkway and you see all those people, man, it didn't take it. That's all it took right there, doing the both bands in the end zone.
Yeah.
And then they come out and they talking noise. And, I think Jackson State might have had Jimmy Smith as a wide receiver
Mm-hmm.
or Barnett, somebody good like that. But this how confident our guys were. Sherlock, that's what we called Roger
Yeah,
Holmes.
Sherlock Holmes, Roger Holmes.
He said I'm bumping around. First play, they go right past it for a touchdown. We're like, man, hold, you better scoot back, my man. You better not be bumping around no more. But hey, he was so confident, man. You could tell him nothing.
Yeah.
And like I said, we went on to play pretty well, and I would say, based off the competition, that was our best game of the year. Because like I said, we only won 3 games, so I would say Jackson State was our best game of the year. Because I think the 3 teams we beat, I don't think they were any good. If I can remember, they definitely were 3 OVC schools. So, during that time, it was only a couple. East Kentucky and Middle Tennessee State, they ruled the OVC during that time. So everybody else was, bottom feeder schools, in our opinion.
And one more question before I pass it back to Flem on this. We've been talking about fans, right, and the engagement of fans. So tell me, from your perspective during that time, what is something that fans typically just don't understand or see that does matter to us as players as we're getting ready for the game, right? And as we as you said, like, you walking out there to the stadium, and I imagine it was well before kickoff, we stretching, and it's already looking, pretty full there. But just talk to us about some things that fans don't understand and see throughout the week that, that matters to us as players.
Well, what fans don't understand is definitely it's a support. Seeing people in the stands is what matters to everybody. I mean, without the fans in the stands, it makes for a dreary game. I mean, you're still gonna be excited because you're playing another opponent, and you'll be fired up to play them. But if you got fans in the stands, they get you an extra adrenaline to just play even harder.
Yeah, agreed, man. Agreed. Flem, it's on you.
Yeah. So we talked about being on a couple of boards, AT, and you brought up 1912 board.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we see a lot of the marketing and all of the information, and you guys are doing a great job over there. But there's still a lot of questions that people are trying to do and what they can do to try to get involved with that initiative and to know what kind of input or influence it currently has with the football program. Can you kind of share with our fans and our followers what you can do and what's the goal of 1912?
For 1912, it was a brainchild of ours to try to get us to compete on the level that we can compete on. We already know resource-wise that we're behind other schools during this NIL era, and what happens is we'll lose a player over a small amount of dollars. Now, for anybody, the amount of money is sometimes not the same as it goes everywhere else. But we got to be able to do our part to try to help, close that gap. We're not going to get, one of those $1 million quarterbacks. So we're not even talking about that. We're just talking about being able to give a player $10,000, give a player, $20,000 to keep them at Tennessee State University. Because if you watch these last couple of years, any kid that has success at an HBCU, the first thing they're doing is they're trying to go somewhere else. And you look at us this year. We were a 2-10 football team, Flem. 2-10. And we've had at least 25 guys say they going somewhere else.
Yeah.
Now, how you 2-10 and you going somewhere else?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so guys are chasing that dollar. So 1912 is just here to hopefully give them some options to we can help you at Tennessee State. Now, Tennessee State is supposed to opt in this year where they're going to do some revenue sharing, where the school will school will be able to give the players some money. So that will help as well, because if the school can give them some money, then we'll be giving them some NIL money where they can go out and get some brand deals, get some more money in their pocket. And so we're just here just to supplement the student athletes and show them they can stay here at Tennessee State. And we just want to be competitive in the marketplace. Now, if a kid gonna go get $400,000, at this point in time, if another school give that type of money, you got to go on and go, my man. Yeah. But if we're talking about a $5,000 here, $10,000, we want to be able to alleviate a kid going somewhere else and he can stay here. And of course, you got to be able to make plays, because we're not going to get anybody just, because you put the uniform on. But we have a process that we go through. When we give a kid a contract, they have to uphold their end of the contract, and then we uphold our end of the contract. But 1912 is here to support the student athletes and also to make it that a kid can stay here at Tennessee State as opposed to trying to chase greener pastures somewhere else, especially when the dollars are very even. Because we want to be able to sell the city of Nashville, which we think is one of the hot cities, because there's no way a kid should leave Nashville to go to a city that's nowhere in comparison. Sometimes you gotta have these kids write down the pros and cons of their decisions, because a lot of kids nowadays not making a decision based off of that. Them making a decision based off of just what their dollar sign is. Mm-hmm. And we can't lose kids that we want to keep over $5,000 or $10,000. So that's what 1912 comes in. For our 7th month, I think we've been established about 7 months. We're doing pretty good. We got a couple of fundraisers coming up here this year. I think in the spring, we're doing a meet and greet on February 7th. Some of the coaches are going to be there. I think Coach Barlow is going to be there. Yep. And hopefully we can get as many of the Tennessee State players who are in the Middle Tennessee area to come to that event so they can hear more about 1912. But in addition to the 1912, we got the Tiger Den, which we got to get people behind too. And there is no way that a former football player shouldn't pay $100 a year to be part of the Tiger Den. If you're talking about you're a true Tiger, that goes back to that support part. That goes back to that. We're talking about that coming out and attending the game. That's where we got to start. We got to get. If we do it, then I think people will follow up. And I think as you on the social media platforms, we got to start talking about, hey, support. All this, no, I'm not supporting. All this, I love the whole. We all love the whole. But as I told y'all earlier, people have selective memory. Because I've been in the whole, we played some of those black schools, and it was 5,000 people there. Yep. It was 4,500 people there. Now the whole being smaller, and you got a lot of students come to the game. It feels good to the players just because of the setting, but it wasn't like it was 16,000 people there all the time.
Hey, and
it wasn't like it was sold out all the time. But,
right. And it also people was complaining about the condition of the hole. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like we were going to the hole back in the day, and we were like, dang, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So right, the bathrooms work, you know what I'm saying? The concession stand, so you never can please everyone. So the thing is, I just want to make clear for the people listening. So Tiger Den Group is for former football players, but 1912 Collective is for anyone.
Yeah, and anyone who wants to support the program.
Yeah. Let me add this.
Go ahead, President Reno.
So I'll step us outside of Uproar Radio show host to President Tiger Den Group. So again, 1912's focus is, as AT said, it is about keeping those players that we're trying to keep here that we can. Because again, we've had players leave for as little as $1,100 a month that another school was giving that player. So it's literally about particular players that are here. Tiger Den Group. Right now, yes, from a membership standpoint, we focus on, members through former football players. And our focus is about global support of the program. So we don't focus on a particular athlete. We focus on what does it take to make this team and the staff go, right? So they're missing this because, from a budget cut or whatever it is, they don't have these funds here. So boom, let's fill that gap, right? So that's where they differ. You're going to see a lot of people who probably support both, because technically you can still support Tiger Den through donations on the website there. But from a member standpoint, you can't be a member just yet. We haven't done that or whatever yet. But right now, you can still support regardless. But just know that one's dollars are about the support of the program, i.e., recruiting funds needed for the program,
and $1 is about supporting student athletes.
Right. So this it's just a difference, as what it just comes down to from that standpoint.
Yep. So this is the thing that
and we're looking for businesses. Go ahead, Flem.
No. Go finish your thought. Finish your thought.
I was saying, in 1912, we're looking for businesses, individuals. We need all of those and above to be supporters, because we need to build our coffers. And Jackson State they probably have the top of the line NIL for HBCUs, because they got started, back when Prime was there, and they built it, so they had a head start on everybody else. But we're in the running now. FAMU's got a nice one started. Prairie View A&M has a great one started. I mean, that coach down there is doing wonderful things with his. So they got a great one started. So we just got to get supporters behind the program. And, like I said, we would love to have $5 million, but it don't take $5 million on our level. So but if we get to the $500,000 mark on a yearly basis, we should be able to field a competitive team each and every year.
Coach, remind these folks this: what does North Dakota State operate under each year?
That's a different ballpark. We don't want to get.
but they're not in seven figures either, though, are they?
They have what? Go ahead. They're probably at between 600 to 800,000.
Okay. So I see. I was the last time I checked them. I thought they were right at like 450, 500,000, but they're definitely above that. Then. Okay.
No, they're about 6 to 8, but they don't do a lot of. At least they don't bring in a lot of transfers by the quarter. They don't do that.
Yeah.
I think last year we did a breakdown. I think they had 6 guys they brought in, only 6. And so you have to find what your strategy is going to be. I mean, like I said, for HBCU, for some reason or another, all the HBCUs, if you look at them, all the HBCUs, it's a lot of turnover each and every year because of the portal, because these guys are looking to get whatever money they can, which is instant gratification. But when you're talking about $10,000, $20,000, it's not going to really change your life.
No.
But for that 1 year, you get $20,000. You're like, hey, I'm great. I get $30,000. Hey, I'm great. But kids are making those decisions. If they do any type of playing time on the HBCU level, if you look, most of these kids are jumping in the portal and say, hey, where can I go play? And for most of them, they do find a place to play for the money. So that's where 1912, getting back to Fleming's question, that's why we started 1912. We want to keep those kids at Tennessee State. So if the coaches have a kid, they develop a kid, and then he stays here, but he's not like a superstar where he's going to get a $500,000 deal somewhere. We need to keep that kid at Tennessee State. Kid get a deal like a $500,000 deal. Do you tell him, you thank him for the time he spent here at Tennessee State to go ahead and chase your dream. Yeah. But we shouldn't be losing a kid over $20,000 or $15,000. That shouldn't happen. And that's the focus of 1912, is keeping those kids that we can that are on that level that can play for us, that can make us be a championship football team, keeping them here instead of them leaving for that small amount of money. That I'm comparatively speaking, because for some people, $15,000 is a whole lot of freaking money, but just comparatively speaking, for that amount of money, you don't want to lose a kid. And that's what 1912 is trying to do to keep kids here.
So, Coach, tell me this. We talked about what we need from the fans. We kind of talked about a little bit what we need from the coaching staff and the athletic department. But you're one of the people in the city of Nashville that everybody knows. I mean, basically, you're the mayor. Everybody knows AT. Well, we go to the same church. You can go anywhere. You know what I mean? You're one of those people. You went down to Franklin and coached football. I mean, you've done it. You're the mayor of the city. So, my call to action is to see if we can get everybody back to the table, Coach. We got a lot of talented people that are not a part of the program or feel shunned or feel, overlooked or don't feel appreciated. And, one of the things when you're trying to garner support, you got to mobilize and cultivate. Well, in this situation, we just got to mobilize our people. We don't even have to cultivate these people because they're already Tigers, So we just got to figure out the way. You've been a part of an organization, one party, one purpose, and you've done a lot in giving back to the university. The things that I've done with giving back with the university. The things Reno has done, my father has done, et cetera, goes on. But some kind of way we can never get everybody in the same room to work together. So, Coach, can you get us all together? Because we're going to need everybody with this season. Like you said, this might be the most important season in Tennessee State's history because, all the things that are going on, like you coined it. So, just tell me what you think about that, Coach, and that's my call to action to you as the mayor of the city.
Well, I think, Flem, you've hit it on the head. I think we have to go out and all of these, so 1912, Tiger Den, the locals who are here who have been supporters, and when I say supporters, that's either with their time, money, or talent. If you're just talking, we don't need that. But the people who have blood, sweat, and tears, we have to get them all on the table with the athletic director. We all got to get in the room because we all want the best for Tennessee State. Right. And we gotta bring everything to a head, and we gotta say this is what we all trying to do. Because at the end of the day, as you just said, it's one common cause or one common denominator we're all working towards. Mm-hmm. And so I'll take that CTA there from you, Flem, and I will work on that and give me a deadline date of say April 30th that we gotta have this thing take place.
Yeah, by spring game, Coach. Spring game would be a great time for everybody to have come together day.
But we got to do it on the day when it's not other stuff, so people can't say, "No, I got somewhere to go." Right. You know what I'm saying? So we got to pick one of the days where it's nothing on the calendar. Right. We can spend 4 or 5 hours just hashing it out. Yeah. People, and when we do this, people have to be real. At this meeting, you can't be afraid when somebody says something. You can't get upset. You just got to listen. And at the end of the day, I think we can all have a kumbaya and we can leave that room. I think we can all be on one page and make this thing great for Tennessee State University. Because like you said,
every Tiger.
We need every Tiger. Because when you don't have the resources, there's no sense to be having any backbiting. Everybody should be on the same page, and whatever resource you have can go a long way then. Yeah. So I'll make that my CTA, Flem, and I keep you updated on that. And so I'll be reaching out to Uproar. Y'all need y'all to give me the names. We need the names of all the players that need to be in this room, and I'll make it happen.
Good deal.
But I'll try my best to make it happen.
Well, look here, man, Coach. The game is here, man. The game is here. So, in this final segment with you on all things, not the Southern Heritage Classic, I want to get ready to bring in our third host of the show, none other than Mr. Brandon.
Coach, what's up, Coach?
What's up, young fella? How you doing?
Trying to make it.
Good deal. Yeah.
It's good to see you, man. It's good to see you.
I heard you calling the action, so at least we got somebody doing some action.
Yeah. Good deal. Yeah, man. Like I said, so in this final segment,
my bad, I'm late.
In this final segment, man, we wanted to get to the actual game itself, Coach. So tell me this: at the start of the game, did it feel like this was going to be a dogfight or a track meet or what? Like, tell me if you can remember. Like, best you can remember. Like, what did that game feel like it was going to be?
Well, you gotta remember back in those days, man, we were still, even though we had to monitor like we was a high flying offense, we was a run on first down, run on second down. Then if it's third and short, we're gonna sprint out. And if it's third and long, we're gonna do a 7 or 9 step drop. so that's how our offense was. So basically the defenses were what led the way. If you had a good defense, you had a pretty good football team because everything was predicated on run, then pass. And Jackson State was built the same way. Jackson State had tremendous defense. And, after I showed against MTSU, I don't know if we had the belief that we could really move the ball on this, but we played a heck of a game to end up being 26-26. From my personal standpoint, I was pissed because, I thought I should have been out there playing, the majority of the game. But I was still a special teams got in. And I wasn't special teams return. I was special teams going down trying to make tackle type guy. So and then when they score, when they kick off there, I'm a special teams blocking somebody.
We all been there.
So I'm thinking I'm supposed to be out there already. But that's how that game, shaped out for us. And like I said, as the game went along, man, I think we got more and more confidence. And like I said, they got up on us early, with their deep pass. And we came back and fought to a tie. And tie's never nice, but it's better than a loss. So, both teams left, somewhat happy. Maybe not totally happy, but, no one was totally upset because at least it was a great showing. And then it was a non-conference game at that. So it was great. And I think we had maybe a party in the women's building that night, I think. So y'all remember stuff like that, but that's how we used to do it back in the day.
It was about the women's building party too. You got to break that down.
Hey, Coach, that's how old Panther was in that game.
Yeah, we had a party in the women's building.
Yeah, how old was you after that game,
Panther? We did my freshman year. We did. Good deal. So now,
yeah,
Coach, as you said,
that's cool. Yeah, but those were the.
Coach, would you say it was second quarter when you was like, okay, yeah, this is about to be a game, or would you say no, not till like third quarter, fourth quarter?
I think by halftime, once we know we're still in striking distance, I think that's when we knew that it was good. And then, we were able to make some plays. And stopped them a couple times, and then I can't remember how the game ended. I'm gonna look back at the box score and take a look at that and see, and try to bring some more memory to that. And I'll email y'all on some more things y'all can use for later show. When y'all have some other guests on here talking about it, I'll give y'all a true breakdown of it once I go back and look at the box score and can remember stuff.
Yeah, good deal.
Yeah, So we keep reference back to the 1988 game. Who was the starting receivers for Tennessee State? If you was on the sideline or you was a special teamer, who was the receivers? Was that Pat
Man,
Rob?
we had no Pat Rob younger than me. He wasn't at Tennessee State yet. It was who were our guys then? Yeah, so Pat younger than me. So. Okay. Who are starting guys then? That's why it's so long. It's so crazy, man. That's why I was like, why I'm not playing? But we might have had. I think Alvin Griffin may have been. He was pretty good. Alvin Griffin was pretty good. He may have been out there. I think Steve Sutter may have been out there.
Okay.
Man, who else was out there? That was early in the year, so it might have been. Man, it might have been Chris Hayes out there because Chris was a Clarksville product, but he got hurt a lot.
Okay.
And then I think it probably was a guy named Donald Lewis too, who was we used to call him Tree. He was a tremendous athlete, dude. He could do everything: run, jump, play basketball. I mean, he was in Montgomery, Alabama. So I think he was one of those guys out there too.
And who started at quarterback that game? Do you remember?
That's Stacy started, but I think Ben and Chauncey, I think all three of them played.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken. But Stacy started.
Boy, that's a carousel right there.
But yeah, it was a revolving door. But I think Stacy might have played the whole game. But like I said, I'm gonna look at the box score and refresh my memory but I know they were all. I don't think Ben played that game, but Ben played more towards the end of the year though.
Was that part of the strategy? You used 3 different quarterbacks.
Was that one of what?
Was that part of the strategy? Back
Oh
then?
no. I think it just couldn't. No, I think it just couldn't decide on one because Stacy was the incumbent. But Ben was had everything you wanted, you know, and so you had to get him on the field. And then Chauncey was the most athletic of all 3 of those guys, so it was like pick your poison. Yeah. But unfortunately, it didn't work because we won 371, like I said. So.
Yeah, I remember that was yesterday because, you know, I can remember my dad complaining, you know, and all the fans and, you know, all my family, like, you know what I mean? Like, something got to happen around here. You know, we lost to somebody that we really should have lost to. And they was like, oh, no. And I think, was that Bill Thomas's last year?
Yeah, I think it was. That was who?
Was it Bill Thomas's last year?
Yeah, that was Coach Thomas. You say Coach Thomas?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was his last year. 8-8 was his last year.
Yeah.
So the Jackson State game was the best of his last year.
Yeah.
Wow.
So remember one time we came down the tunnel talking about Bill Tyke and all that stuff. He stopped us mid-center. I mean, he said to Aitch with all that, let's go out and play some effing football. So he just stopped in the middle of our chant. Just told us stop all that Bill Tyke, all this stuff. Just cut that out. Let's go out there and play some effing football. So we had some stories for that year, boy.
He was bad. He was managing a lot too. Cause wasn't he like head coach / athletic director too?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was.
Now
that's what they did back in the day, man.
Now wasn't Gail? Was you there?
They did it back in the day.
Was you there when Gail said?
No, Gail left when I first got here.
Okay.
So Gail left before the start of the '86 season. He left.
Okay.
You said Gail Sayers?
Yeah, Gail Sayers was the athletic director at Tennessee State.
Yeah, Gail.
The real Gail Sayers?
Yeah. 1980.
What?
Yeah, the one and only. The one and only.
Hey, they say he showed up twice in 2 years.
Yeah.
What? Lord Jesus.
Hey, he was just.
Hey man, you need to go to my good friend, your friend brother Long. Hey.
They say he didn't move
leave your friend brother alone, Flem.
Hey, Bather, see?
Flem, leave your friend brother alone now.
We need an Omega man, don't we? We need an Omega man,
right now.
No doubt. That's why these stories got to be told, brother. That's why these stories got to be told.
Hey, he left right before the '86 season started. So, and I forgot who they put in there, but then Coach Thomas took over mid '87, I think. And then once they had that trouble in '88, he just said, "I'm gonna stay the athletic director," and brought Joe Gillum back to the program. And Joe once they picked Bill Thomas over Joe in '84. Mm-hmm. Joe had nothing to do with the program until he came back in '89.
Yeah. You know what? Do you know
so
that story?
He took 5 years off.
Do you know that story?
Tell me the story.
It's me, yeah.
That story?
Yeah. I'm not gonna tell it on here. No, I'm not gonna tell it. I know the story.
Man, see, I thought this was Uproar, man.
All right. We'll just say
No,
this.
hey.
We'll just say this. The state of Tennessee has always had their hands involved with Tennessee State University.
Yeah.
And I can
Correct.
tell you that.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing right there. Good job, Flem.
Yeah.
I thought we was about to get the real.
Yeah.
We don't have to say that.
No. We got yeah, because if Coach was still alive, if both of them were still alive, I would tell it. But neither one of them are alive today, so I'm gonna let that go where it needs to go right there.
Hey, there it is.
If they can't come up, they can't come on your show and refute it.
Yeah.
So what Flem said, we'll leave it right there.
Yeah.
Now I can tell y'all off air one day. We can talk about then. Then y'all can take it where y'all want to from there. But
So tell me this, Coach. Tell me this, Coach. We've been talking a lot about 1988. We'll keep it moving, and we got some great. I got some Derek got the dark shows and things coming up. You know what I'm saying? We'll dive into that. Now the game is this year is August the 28th, 29th. Was it the 28th? The 29th?
I think so.
Okay. Well, what you guys got going on? Jackson State just lost a very, very disappointing game in the SWAC championship that kept them from going to the Celebration Bowl. That's going to be an angry bunch to come into Nashville. Tell me, Coach, what you think our kids got to do to protect the yard, you know what I'm saying, guard the yard, and beat that tough, Coach, season, because they lost a lot of kids, but they're reloading, and but they got a lot of kids that stayed. A team that's won basically 20 football games in 2 years. What we need to do to stop that bunch when they come to Nashville?
I think he froze, Coach.
Oh, okay. What about you? What about you, B? What you think we need to what needs to happen?
Hey man, I think we need to make sure we sound defensively, like we said last week. Make sure we got that D line taken care of, and then that we got those safeties coming in, because defensively, that's where it starts, Coach. Mm-hmm. That's where it starts. And I think we made some moves in the portal. I talked to my guy Eddie Woods. He said, they tightened some things up. Okay. It's gonna be a good spring. Okay. We're gonna make sure that they get that stuff handled, but gotta go defensive special teams first. Yeah, quarterbacks get better, offense gets better as the season goes on, but defense, if you can't stop a nosebleed, those first 4 games, come on now. We're going Jackson State, we're going Georgia, then we're going A&M, then we're going to FAM.
Georgia.
University of Georgia, not just
University of Georgia. Yeah.
I know. Yeah. So that them first 4 games is gonna be a real, test, because that's how you start the season off. So,
and we can't underestimate having a spring season. I can't remember the last time there's been a real spring season for Tennessee State football since COVID. I can't remember. You remember one, Reno? You remember the 15, 16 practices in the spring being used to springboard? You know what I mean? Like every other good, successful program does. I mean, that's spring.
Back when I played, I thought we had good spring ball, but I don't know recently. But I know when we played, we used to go at it, because I just know our room was deep, Reno. Like we was 8, 9 deep. Everybody's trying to get on the field, so you had to really play that spring game. You got to go let it burn. But them weeks coming up, those 1-on-1s and them 7-on-7s and 9-on-7s used to get nasty.
Yeah.
Sure did, man. I'm excited for it, man. I'm excited to see, this staff again. It's still some new faces coming into it, but to see where Coach starts to build the offense. The quarterback room, it got some experience upgrade to it. So the kid from Winston-Salem State, 4,000 plus yards in passing. So you got a good one. So it's added some more heat to the room.
What about receiver wise? He got some guys.
Receiver wise, they added a couple transfers and a couple high school kids to the room. So
I need to go through their roster.
So yeah, man, we'll see how things go from what they did. I prefer to evaluate not just from what I've seen, especially high school kids from their high school film. I just folks that'll be here in the spring, I prefer just to watch that for a few days and to see how things go from there, and then see how it evolves up until that blue-white game. So that's where my head is on that. But they're doing their best to get them in here.
Y'all gonna get to see him during practice. I ain't gonna get to see him during practice.
Hey, did y'all see they had Claude Humphrey's grandson
on the team
here for a visit? He's one of the biggest human beings you'll ever see.
And what did he say? Is he coming?
I mean, he also, I saw on his Twitter or X, he took a visit to Southern as well. So I mean, this kid looks like 6'6". He's long. I mean, he looks like a 6 foot guy that's 6'6". He got the long arms. He got no body weight. I mean, no stomach. Great looking kid. And it was like, yeah, that's supposed to be Claude Humphrey's grandson. So I mean, you can't, come on, 1912. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't let this, he looks like a prototype left tackle. Just looks perfect. So, yeah. So
you can't beat genetics, coach. You got genetics. You got the genes.
Hey, what Coach Reed used to say, you can't teach size.
No, sir.
I tell you what Coach Gillum came and told us. He said, fat people get you killed. He set us down. Look, Coach Reed.
Hey, do we need to scrub that, Reno?
Listen,
hey, man.
That's his words. He came.
He said it.
He looked at all us, and we were sitting at the table. Coach Reed had the staff, and Coach Gillum hopped up there. First day he said, "Fat people get you killed." Hey, man.
Hey, I mean,
I'm a GA. I'm sitting there like,
look at, but look at the players. Look at the players under Coach Merritt. Them offensive linemen wasn't like no
fat boys,
200-pound guys. Offensive lineman was like 265 to 285.
They could run.
Yeah, like they wasn't doing no big. That was Jackson State and Grambling, who always had big, massive guys. Like, we didn't do that. Right. You might have thought Too Tall was big like that. But that man was, you gotta say he's 6'7", 6'8", or whatever. He was probably 265, 270. He
might have been a little heavy. He was big though.
Not here.
He wasn't fat.
I looked at a picture of him his junior year here. He was not. He didn't start looking big till he got to the
league. Yeah.
He got to the league. So yeah, man. Well, look here, man. This is where we are. We're gonna have a few little parting shots here before we get up out of here, man. We got some stuff coming up as AT talked about, getting people to understand the value of Tiger Day and the value of 1912. That'll be February 7th. But real quick,
that's Super Bowl weekend, right?
Yes, but real quick, we had the championship. We had championship weekend with NFL. We saw the Seahawks pull it off against the Rams. We saw the Patriots, my Patriots, head to Denver and put on another defensive mastermind, man. I think right now in the playoffs, our defense is giving up 9.4 points a game. No one's even gone over, I think, 10 points on the Patriots defense.
No, you got to give credit. You got to give credit to Mother Nature, bro.
Maybe, but again, our offense didn't look good against the Broncos either. Okay, so neither look good on either side.
Yeah, both teams playing against it.
But regardless, our the Patriots offense has gone up against the number 1 defense, the number 4 defense, and the number 3 defense, all to get to the Super Bowl. And then you got to go up against now the Seahawks, who are number 2 or number 5 or something like that, because Patriots are top 6 defense as well too. So it's like, hey man, I mean, when people look at us Patriots talking about, they
Seahawks defense is good now,
and so was Houston.
Yeah,
and so was Houston.
No, CJ Stroud blew the game for Houston.
Yeah.
It's not about that. I'm talking about defenses. I'm talking about the Patriots offense versus good defenses. It won't be nothing new is what I'm saying. It won't be a culture shock.
He had 3 turnovers in that game against Houston,
and we forced those turnovers.
Hey, Reno.
What you mean? I'm saying
y'all are going to get.
No, the Patriots had 3 turnovers that game.
Yeah.
Which game?
They did.
The game against the Texans.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
it's going to be listen, it's over, Reno. Y'all are getting blown out. I mean, it's one of them.
I don't know if it's going to be a blowout.
Oh, it's going to definitely be a blowout. It's going to be absolutely a blowout because the Patriots just don't have enough offense to keep up with Seattle. They just
perfect
don't.
conditions. It's perfect.
And you feel like the Seahawks offense can do what it needs to do against the Patriots defense.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think they're gonna run y'all out of Santa Clara. It's gonna be one of those Super Bowls where you start playing Tunk at halftime and start dancing and karaoke and figure out some stuff. I mean, listen,
tell
Drake
them put some
May
money
is
on
not
it,
a
Reno.
great quarterback.
Tell them put some money on it.
I don't want no money on it.
I'm saying, you know, Drake is way ahead of schedule. He looked green against the Broncos. He was inaccurate. He made one good throw out of 21 passes. One good throw. He killed more.
It was snowing, Flem.
He killed more night crawlers in Denver and no worms. And then he was tight. So it's a great story. Your guys are getting blown out, Reno.
Okay. Flem said it here, y'all. Flem said it. The Patriots are going to get blown out on Super Bowl
at least double digits. At least.
Okay.
Post that. At least double digits.
The Super Bowl last year was a blowout. Yeah, the Eagles blew the Chiefs out. It was boring. At halftime, that game was over with.
Yeah, they slowly pulled away.
At halftime, the game was over with.
Yeah, they slowly pulled away.
Yeah, so, you know, but great showing, Reno. Great show. I mean, you know, great job. Y'all got to get a little bit more offense. Your left tackle is a problem, and that was your first round draft pick. He's
not a problem. He's young. He's literally went up against the best defensive end from the Cleveland Browns in the last game of the season to another great defensive ends in the Chargers, to Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter and the Texans, and then to what we saw against the Broncos, right? So it's like he went through basically he's going through like top tier talent back to back.
He'll be a left guard next year.
It ain't gonna get no worse.
Yeah, his arms are too short. He's gonna be a left guard. He's not a left tackle. He's not long enough.
Maybe not. But regardless, at the end of the day, for the most part, he's not running away. He don't look outmatched. Sometimes they just better because they're veterans, and that's what they're doing against him. But for the most part, prior to Myles Garrett, none of them defensive ends was doing anything against him. He was winning at an alarming rate. So it ain't like so the people who have beat him are all pro players. Okay. So that's where that is. So it ain't like he just straight up trash now. Like he's looking like a rookie against some seasoned veterans right now.
That's what he's looking at. Time now. This is what it is. This is what you're gonna get. You're gonna get the best of the best.
We'll see, man. You know, like without further ado, man. Like I said, we're gonna get up out of here. We're gonna shut this thing down. We're gonna sign out. But as always, make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Tune in for this Thursday. We got some more big dogs coming in. We got Anzi Elam. We got Lee Smith coming, sharing more stories about this window of Tennessee State and Jackson State football history coming up, man. So as always, this is Uproar Radio Show alongside the great Flem, B. Bather, Coach B. Bather, Myles. Hit the music. Uproar Radio Show.
Here's my theme song. What up, little B?
Boy, throwing a fit.